Hello and welcome back. If it's your first time here, I'm Scott.
And I'm Allison.
And we are
Jarhead and Ginger's Journey.
We're full-time RVers. We do destination videos, tips and tricks, and all things RV. If that sounds like something you'd like, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and come along on our journeys. Well, Thanksgiving's over. Now it's time for Christmas.
Yay!
We decided we were going to come and bring you guys some of the most important things that you're going to need for your RV life, whether you're full-timing, whether you just go out on the weekends, or you just go out every once in a while. A lot of these things you're absolutely going to have. I would say day one items. You want to stick around to the end of this too, because we've got 2 or 3 at the end that are just really nice things to have. Maybe you won't absolutely have to have them, but if you do have them, it's going to make your life a lot easier.
Yes, indeed.
Also, all of these things that we're going to give you, we're going to go ahead and put links in the description below. Most of them will be Amazon links. If you click on them, it won't cost you any more to purchase, but we'll get a little bit of a kickback, so it'll help our channel out. So if you use our links, we will greatly appreciate it. These are in really no particular order. So the first thing that I want to touch on is our TPMS, our tire pressure monitoring system. We have the TST 507, and as you can see there, it has a nice, of course it's going to have a problem. As you can see there, it has the nice color display on it, and we have 12 sensors because of our RV has 6 tires and our truck has 6 tires. Luckily, we haven't had this go off alarm-wise while we're traveling so far, knock on wood. But it's great to know that we're monitoring all of our tires, both pressure and temperature, while we're going down the road. Because blowouts can be catastrophic for these RVs, guys. They can rip the whole side off, and we don't want that. So we have our TST TPMS. Highly recommended.
And the next thing that we recommend is something that I use every travel day. In fact, a couple of days before travel day, I'll go ahead and program our route into our Garmin 890 GPS. Now, the reason that you need an RV specific GPS is that if you just use like an app like Google Maps or one of the map apps, you can't program in your height and your weight restriction. With the Garmin 890, you can program your height, your length, the vehicle that you're driving and its height and length, and it'll help you to avoid the low clearances and the tunnels and any places you shouldn't be taking your RV. And it's great because you can customize it specifically to your RV.
And this one has voice activated commands. We don't really use those because we travel in the same vehicle together. But we have been having a normal conversation, and the Garmin will ask you, do you want to go to wherever it is we're talking about, and try to plan a route for it. So there's, hopefully you can see the Garmin there, guys. There's the opening screen to it anyway. We do have a comprehensive guide on how to use this. Right after we first got it, she has found a lot of tips and tricks since then, so we may be updating that this year. We'll have to see. But we absolutely love this thing. If I don't have this blue line to follow, I have no idea where I'm at, even with her telling me where to go.
You think after 30 years, well, after 30 years, I'm pretty good at telling them that. What's the next thing? The
next thing we have is our Kingpin lube plate. It's basically, it looks like a piece of plastic. It's about 1/4 inch thick, and it goes up on our Kingpin. I'll put a little picture of it in up here. Basically, it's just so you don't have to keep a whole lot of grease and lubrication around your Kingpin area. It goes up in there so you don't have any metal-to-metal grinding on your trailer where it hooks up to the bed of your truck. Real simple little $10 or $15 piece of plastic, basically, and it's great. It saves the kingpin and all the grease and nastiness all over you.
And what's next?
Our next one is very important in my opinion, is our Hughes Autoformer Power Dog. We have the 50 amp one because our RV is a 50 amp RV, and it has the emergency power off system to it. It's actually shut our RV down several times when the pedestal gives us too low or too high power, or we get brownouts, or whatever the case is. It's made to absolutely shut us down. And then, depending on what's happening, in 30 to 90 seconds, it will restart, repower up our RV, and let us know what the problem is outside. We did have, we're on our second one. So our first one had a bit of an issue where it was saying that our pedestal was giving us low power when it actually wasn't. So our watchdog was shutting us off every 30 seconds or so, and then turning us back on, shutting us off. Well, I called the park, and they came out and they plugged in some of their stuff, and they said as far as they could tell it was running fine, but they would call an electrician. Well, when they left, I used my my instruments on the pedestal itself, and found that it was the power dog that was giving an erroneous low reading. So I called Power Dog and I said, this is what's happening with it. This is what I did. I tested it with my multimeter, and the company was great. They said, well, it sounds like you've done everything we would have told you to do anyway, so all we can do is send you out a new one. And they did. And they didn't ask for the old one back or anything like that. So what I did when I got the new one is I took out the module from the old one, because it has, I think, 14. It can trip up to 14 times and still be okay. So I took the old module out of the old one and saved it, so if I ever need to replace that module, I have one on hand. So although I had an issue with the Power Dog, I wouldn't plug into any power anywhere in the States or anywhere in the world without it.
Fantastic customer service.
Absolutely. And that's the first thing that we do when we pull into a place. Sometimes before I even back into the site, I'll get the Power Dog out and I'll plug it into the pedestal. I'll turn it on. It takes 2 or 3 seconds and it gives you a clunk and a beep noise. And if the face on the front of the Power Dog is white, that means your pedestal is good to go. And then we'll go ahead and back in, because I know we have decent power, before I back in and find out that I have bad power and have to go somewhere else.
The next item has definitely saved our system, our water system, when we were in a park where the water pressure was just way too high. What is that item?
The item she's talking about this time is an adjustable water pressure regulator. Highly suggest the adjustable style. You're going to pay a little more for it, around the $30 to $50 range, but it's made out of brass, and it has a screw on the top where you can adjust the power, or the water pressure down or up depending on where you want it. Now normally we try and get ours to about 50 psi. We pulled into some parks and the pressure there was 80 or 90 psi, which is fine if you're in a normal house. And I've heard arguments for it for RVs as well, because most RVs are made with PEX tubing now that can, take a whole bunch of pressure. However, all those PEX tubings that are run all around in your RV, they're all put together with little plastic ends, not the brass ends. I would much rather go with what's in your manufacturer's recommendations. And for us, in our 397 Momentum, it says 45 to 50 psi. So that's where I put mine, is right at 50 psi. Normally, once you have that thing adjusted into the 50 psi range, you can leave it. If you do get somewhere and it does go higher, you can obviously adjust it down. You can't adjust it up. If you only have 20 psi at the park, you can't adjust it up and get 50 out of it. But at least you can adjust it down and save your plumbing in your RV. The
And what is the next item?
The next one that I think everybody should have is the ZeroG drinkable water hose. The reason I like those over the white ones that normally come with your RV is once it starts getting a little cold outside like it is now, those white hoses, you're going to start fighting with them when you get them out and put them back in and things like that. They're not very pliable. They don't bend easily. The ZeroG hose, I take it apart and I plug one into the regulator, the pressure regulator, and I plug the other end into the RV, and then I can, do my loops around underneath the RV. It's just so flexible, it makes it real easy.
Convenient for storage as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, when I store it, I just screw both ends together, lift up my loop, and basically make a little tail with it, and shove it right alongside of the box that I have in my bay, and it's out of the way. Very simple. It's not leaking anywhere. It's just a great hose. And then the last thing, as far as the must-have items that we have for us, is our Rhino sewer hose, or Stinky Slinky.
Oh boy, we had to go there.
Hey, everybody's got to go. So you got to get rid of it somehow. We use the Rhino brand Stinky Slinkies, and we actually have 3 pieces of it. I've been to places where I've had to use all 3, so I've been very glad I have it. Like I said, we'll leave links below, and they do come in single sections and double sections with the connections that you need on the ends. What I do is I leave my 2 sections connected, and I have a spot for it underneath my RV, and I'll run both sections in that thing with the caps on it, obviously, and then I have a separate section that I have in my bay. So if I'm at if I only have a short distance to go, I'll use my single section. If I have a longer distance, I'll use my double section, or even longer, I'll have to use all 3. But everybody needs it, and the one, if your RV comes with one, the one that it comes with probably isn't going to last you very long at all. I don't even think ours came with one, so we went ahead, and even before we had the RV, we went ahead and bought the Rhino Stinky Slinky.
But wait, act now and we'll throw in a Griswold white robe for free. Not really, you can find those anywhere.
Yeah, yep, you'll be out there with your Stinky Slinky down the hose like old Clark Griswold. It's full. Beep is full. All right, well, we made it through the 7 things that we think are absolute must-haves for day 1 when you take your RV off the lot. Now we're going to give you a few that we like just to have around because they're really great items. What's the first one, babe?
This! This, guess what it is?
Looks like you're in jail.
Sometimes. This is a dish drying rack. You stretch it across your sink and you lay your dishes on there, and then you can roll it up to store it away. I use this every day, multiple times a day.
Yeah, it's a great thing. She just leaves all the dishes on there, and then I come behind her and usually put them up. Sometimes she does too.
It also works when it gets out of hand.
Yeah, it's metal in there, so you can do some damage with that thing. Hopefully she doesn't ever hit me for real with that thing. What's next?
Single spice racks.
That's right. We bought 4 of them, I believe, spice racks, and we screwed them in to the pantry door. So when you open the pantry door, all your spices are hanging right there in the pantry. If you've been around for any time at all, you've seen that. You saw us install that, and we are still loving those. We have them pretty full now, so we need to use more spices.
I really like them. I enjoy organizing my spices, having them right where I can reach them, and right where I can tell if something's getting low. I can jot it down on the grocery list.
Cool. And then we also have one other item that is probably may not be on the list for most people, but we really like it. It's our on-the-go water softener system. We have the smaller one, and it's really a good system. It comes with one little bottle of water softening testers, and every time we go somewhere new, that's one of Allison's jobs. After she puts the chocks down, she'll get a little bit of water and she'll test the water with the tester, and if we need the softener, I'll hook it up. If we don't, I'll leave it there. I'll leave it in the bay, and we'll go from there. We were getting really hard water spots, and this thing has fixed the hard water spots for sure. Just hook it up, and it runs on regular table salt. If you have the little round boxes of table salt, that's what it runs on. So every 3 months or so, you purge this thing, you put another small box of table salt in it for like 65 cents or something, and you're good to go for another 3 months, and it softens your water the whole time. Well, that's it for our Christmas list of must-haves and a few nice-to-have things also. Again, all the links to all of these products we've been talking about are in the description below, and we'd really appreciate it if you use some of our links and went shopping at Amazon. You know you're going to do it anyway. Well, if you're still here, thanks for sticking around to the end. We'll see you next time on
Jarhead and Ginger's Journey. Bye.